Hello everyone, and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 274. Today is Saturday, April 27, 2019, and I'm really glad you can join me today. It's a pretty beautiful day. I look a little hot because I am a little hot, but I'm still drinking hot coffee, so whatever. And we'll debate the fact that beautiful day is high of 86, but it's sunny and it's not raining. It's been a wackadoodle week for me. I have been struck super duper hard by the allergies. Everything is alive and I feel the pain. So anytime I transition from vertical to horizontal and horizontal to vertical, there is like a 30-minute to 2-hour period of just disgusting. I guess that I did have a massage today, so that was maybe like 5 minutes of terrible, but just like so it's been a little bit strange. I probably should have dropped by Walgreens to get more I need allergy medicine with decongestant to take it all down. Or I hope that's the case, because otherwise I have something super duper nasty. But hopefully hot liquid will keep me from coughing during the podcast. I did actually edit out one of the really nasty coughs last week, so oh well, whatever. As you do. In exciting news, I found my Luna moth shell pattern in the depths of the couch. I don't know why I didn't look there. It was a perfectly sensible place for it to be. So there is the place I like to sit on the couch, and so there's generally stuff falls into the cracks. I just hadn't, whatever. So I'm glad I found that pattern. I have no clue if I did what I was supposed to do on that, but whatever. I'm happy with my ending, so I'm okay with that. There's been a decent amount of knitting inspiration this week, which makes me excited. What would it be? I think there's just something about, or what would it be, sort of the ebb and flow of what's going on in my life, so that was exciting. So I'm gonna probably put this on super duper briefly because it is stinking warm. I don't think I tried putting it on on Monday when I ended up recording, but I did block it and it is bigger now, which is good. And you can see all of the drama of the Luna moth pattern, which is by Suzuki Kuen Kaczynski. Yay! So it is big enough to wear as a shawlette, so it does stay in place when you put it on this way. But it's 80 up here, and this mohair silk is super duper warm. I was so surprised about that. I feel bad for those Angora goats in Texas. So this is out of the Lion brand wool stainless, which was probably made by Habu, and the Elan.com Silken Kid in the sapphire colorway. And with their powers combined, I have something that is both structured with the steel and super soft with the mohair silk. And I'm pretty sure I actually have this on backwards. It's a little bit hard to actually figure out which side's which. Like, it just looks a little bit softer on the purl side. So, not like that's a big deal, but it's just a little bit less defined on that side. But it's holding its points really, really well. So I managed to get just that little bit more length to make this a proper size. Had I known what was going on, I probably, or what would it be? I think it's the case where when it comes to close to 400-yard shawls, I definitely would say that they tend to be a little bit small for me, even this lace weight one. But I'm pretty happy with the finished product. It's going to be super gorgeous to wear, and something that, what would it be, like probably the fiercest air conditioning tamer we've ever seen in the land, because it's, let's say, it's definitely going to be like less than 75 grams of total material, so super duper fine. And that was my project for the Knit the Precious Cal. So we have 3 more days left in the Cal, and I'm really excited that a few of you guys are participating, so yay! What would it be? So it'd be the case where, what would it be? So, and the idea of that was to take something special from your stash and knit it up into something cool, because that's the way my Cals work. We'll try to make it work with whichever way the winds of inspiration are taking me at any given time. So this was a project that I started and finished in 2019, so that's cool. I'll get to count the weight, all 75-ish grams of it. I haven't done that quite yet. Or what would it be? I just have to be slightly amused by my, what would it be? Or this particular bit of knitting productivity was great in yardage and weak in weight. But such is life. The other project that is still, rejigger slightly, that is still moving forward slowly but surely, is my breathing space. So I am still working the ribbing. I think I was working the ribbing on Monday, and now it has been so kind to leap off the needles. So I will fix that right now, because, like, come on, that's not helpful. You even popped off all those little pearls. So this is, we will do this. So this is a Veravon Lamaki pattern. I've been knitting it since mid-December. Apparently Texas summer, or Texas winter, is good for one sweater for me, but such is life. So this is out of my nest, Superwash Merino Silk, in the Mistletoe, which is the green that I'm working with now, and a combo spin of Noel and Yuletide. And then this sweater has been an epic, but I am saving it for Stash Dash. So I had a chance to weigh my yarn usage last night, and I have about 30 grams left. So when I started this color block, I had about 90 grams. So I don't know if I'm going to be using all of the yarn, but I may extend the ribbing further than the 10 rows I was planning on doing initially. And I think part of that is just because, what would it be? The bottom of the sweater could probably use just a smidgen more length there. So I'm going to go with that. If I had been following the pattern more exactly, I probably would have started the single color section early, but I striped it a little bit longer because I was knitting at a conference in February. So, I don't know, this project's been an epic, but it's almost over now. Or I will leave it in a state of very nearly almost over soon. I might even partially bind it off and just leave a very small amount of stitches to do when Stash Dash begins. But I sort of don't want to waste the yardage on this one. Like last year I finished my tunic right before Stash Dash, and that would have been Mondo yardage for that, but I don't feel like I'm carrying a lot of whips into it this year, so that's sort of, I think, why I'm going at it this way, as you do. So, and what I probably should do is take some of these markers out, because they probably haven't been doing good things to this. But it is coming along. Flip that down. Like I was hoping that would crack. So I think it can handle a little bit more down there, and that'll be fine. So it'll be really lovely once it is complete, and it's very, very close now. Part of it may just be some focused knitting on it in order to wrap up. So I may not use all of this, but I think I will be maybe putting 5 more rows on than I had originally planned, to give this a nice good bottom on it. At this point, it is a sweater compatible with leggings. It's probably a little bit longer than the pattern called for, but I had to spin 4 more ounces of yarn for it, so I may as well use it. And then I have a decent amount left over of this one, so I probably only needed 4 total ounces of this one, and then I would have been better off having 12 of this guy, but I didn't know that at the time. I don't know how much I have of this combo spin left over, but it seems to be, I was pulling from the outside of the ball, but it is a pretty hefty little ball there, so now that I'm in the ribbing, I can probably put my 4s back with the rest of my needles, so that shouldn't be too crazy. So those are the things that you guys know, and I did start something new this week. Let's see if I can't gently coax it out of the bag. And I didn't necessarily stop this at the best of times, but I am nearly to the end of the row, so we are going to go with that. So this is the Inara shawl. It is a Amba O'Brien pattern. What I'm wondering about is whether or not now I'm going to have to consult the pattern briefly in order to finish this row. Whatever. So, a lot of people have knit this pattern. It is a really gorgeous knit. It is something that one can do with, alright, there is no increase at the end of this, which is fine. So this is how far I've gone at this point. So I am almost done with my first lace chart, and this is a shawl that I'm going to knit in 12 sections. And what's interesting about it, or what's the cool thing about the pattern, is that you can knit it with 12 different colors of yarn, so doing various gradients going from light to dark and dark to light in order to get maximum contrast. But when I was buying yarn for this shawl, I was struggling with finding a dyer that had the total package. So it'd be the case of having a really good neutral gradient and a really good bright colored gradient. And so what I ended up deciding to do was to go with Cannon hand dyes. And I went with one 6 mini skein pack, and then I ended up getting 2 solid yarns to go with it. So the 6 skein pack was the equivalent of 2 skeins of yarn. So this is going to be a bit of a monster when it's done. I won't be using all of, or what would it be? sorry. Yeah, so this could be a monster, but it might not be. So my I conveniently left this on the ground. So the neutral that I'm using is Naked Bruce, and that is a 70% superwash merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon base. And then because she didn't have any of this particular base in stock in our booth, so this is the Leo MCS fingering, 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk. It is nice, nice. I thought I can just keep the tag and get rid of the rest. Nope. This is the tag. Does it say what color it is? No. It's an unknown color. But what I have are 6 different jewel tones. And, so, now I have to go into the whole explanation of my evil plan. So I decided, when I cast this on, that, or what would it be? I ended up setting everything on this chair, and I took a photo of it so that I could reference the photo later to figure out what it was that I was really doing. As you do. So I have this group of skeins, and this group of skeins is a plummy purple, a bluey purple, and a blue. And I figure that they go together. Then, on the other side, I have this group of skeins, which is a forest green, it's a very green. This guy is maybe a little bit more foresty. This is a dark teal. And this guy here is a bright teal. So these guys, obviously, very much go together. And then I'm going to stab my fingers into all of these somehow. Okay, so here we go. So this was what I was thinking, and then having my neutrals go from there. But I had this ingenious idea while I was talking in the whip tag group for the SSK, or whatever, one of the SSK knit-alongs, was that wouldn't it be cool if I actually alternated the neutral between these, so I could turn these into a gradient going one way and a gradient going the other way, and then neutral blocks in between each of my brightly colored blocks. So this here would be one group with my purples to blues, and then this one would be another group with sort of my greens to teals. So I would still get that I'd still get a gradient look to it, but that maybe this total, and what would end up happening if I did my other plan is that I would have half the shawl be bright colors and half the shawl be super neutral. And by alternating my my colors, I'll be able to get blocks of neutral and blocks of bright throughout the entire shawl. And then having bright blocks of these colors together, and then bright blocks of these colors together. And then what I was thinking of was actually lining them up like so. So my lightest here would go with my darkest here. And this one isn't the darkest, but it's the reddest one would end up going with the little teal guy right there. So that is my plan now. And at some point soon I'll get to actually begin to do that. So this means that the other end of the shawl is going to be the purpley blues, and that this side's going to be more of the tealy green. And then I will have alternating neutral blocks with bright blocks. So I think this is going to turn out really, really cool, and sort of make the most of the fact that I couldn't actually find 12 gradient skeins I liked. I could only find 6 gradient-ish skeins that I liked at the time that I started this project. As you do. So I was thinking, I wore my On the Spice market this week, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, man, I bet I could have used that gradient with the other gradient, and it would have been great. But, oh well, whatever. So this is the pattern that sells gradients, and I just have to accept that. So I am almost done with this little lacy bit, and then I'll have some easy garter for a little bit, but that it'll be easy garter in this bright cheerful color, so that'll be fun. And so it really isn't taking very much yarn at all to have that just little pop in there, and I just love how this jewel tone is coming off of this light brown. So it's super, I am very excited about how that is looking and what the total thing is going to be. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and I sort of like walked through like basically all of the color combinations. So it'd be the case where my purple to blue is now my A skeins with neutrals in the middle, and then my green to teal is going to be my B skeins with neutrals in between each one. So I think that was the best way to mix it up. So I will always have a bright color with neutrals surrounding it. And I think that that's going to make for a better balanced shawl overall. So I'm excited about that, because I don't think I would have wanted to, I'm excited. I have a bit more yardage than the pattern called for, but I'm sure I could make something actually really cool with the leftovers of this as well. So, so I'll get to work a lot more with the merino cashmere silk soon. And then, what was it? I helped my friend I helped my friend Sarah buy yarn for this project at DFW Fiber Fest this year, and we ended up going with the Smutsarella yarn for her. So she had a nice gray to black, and then sort of light to dark green gradient, and but the only problem was that it was a little bit shorter on yardage, so as you do. So this is one that calls for 125 gram minis. So I think this is going to be really, really nice. So next stop, teal, or bright teal for this guy. So this will be quite nice. So I think this is sort of why my knitting mojo has been a little bit higher, because I've started a new shawl. Other things that are making me a little bit excited right now is, and maybe it's the case where I will do this once I don't need you, dark teal. Why are you just so there is that. So there are a couple of other things that are sort of inspiring me right now that I haven't quite made it to casting on yet. So right now, Amy Florence of the Stranded podcast is hosting a roller derby, and I am eyeing my Martian rainbow and probably some black to make like a really gorgeous pair of shorty socks. And then when I was deciding what to cast on, I just wasn't feeling starting the brontosauruses yet. I haven't bought the pattern for Basil the Boogie Woogie Brontosaurus. I don't know where I'd put the yarn that I was intending to use for that. I don't know, maybe it's not floating around my bag. But I guess at some point I'll do it. If I continue to persist in being here, then perhaps it would make sense to, or would be once it starts getting really hot, that's the time where the gift knitting mojo becomes very high. So, but yeah, that is the eventual plan at some point. I think it was just the case where I was feeling more of the shawl kit than other things. So today and tomorrow are local yarn shop day. Weekend? I don't know, whatever. It was the case where I saw on Instagram the magical thinking cowl, which I thought was looking super duper cute, but then it turned out that I would have needed to buy yarn for it today in order to get the pattern for free, and I already had skeins in mind for what that was going to be. And then I probably wouldn't have done it as a cowl anyways. I think I would have done it as a triangle shawl. So it's sort of a triangle cowl, sort of like Zuzu's Petals is. But I just really liked the playfulness of the three colors. So a three skein shawl, that's a good size shawl. 2 skein skull is a good size shawl too. 4 skeins is massive, but still satisfactory. Excuse me. So, but I think I'm no longer a 1 skein shawl gal. I think it's at least 2. It has to be more than 1. So I was thinking my hedgehog would look super cute in that pattern, but I wasn't gonna rebuy the yarn to do that. So it's okay. At some point it will become available. It seemed like it was really selling yarn at the local yarn shop, so I bought my hedgehog at the McKinney Knittery, but I ended up visiting Holly's yarn shop, which is in North Dallas, because, what was it? There was brunch today, and I figured it was in the neighborhood. It turned out it was less in the neighborhood than I thought, because there wasn't a convenient exit. I guess I can appreciate the highway not having exits upon exits upon exits, especially near an interchange with an interstate and the little toll road I was on, but I didn't want to get back on the toll road to head to the exit I really wanted to get off at, so I wasn't there for very long, but I helped someone pick out colors. And then I think it was the case where, what would it be? Iris colors, so like teals and purples and this really cool speckly variegated yarn, so I thought it was super cute looking. But I did not buy yarn myself, as you do. So I did get some yarn in the mail. So I mentioned last week that I had won a prize from Sun Valley Fibers. So this is color number 28. This is one of our new speckle yarns. So it sort of has a bluish gray base with pink, gray, and orange speckles on it. And this is her 100% Merino Superwash yarn. So I am very excited to get my hot little hands on this. I was excited to win a prize for the Go Along. And in some ways I think I technically counted my Lunamoth shawl as one of the shawl kits I was using up in my stash, but the Inara shawl is also one of the shawl kits I'm using up in my stash. I'm just not quite ready to start a sweater right now. Though I am thinking pretty hard about vitamin D, which I do have the yarn for, linen yarn. So I think this is going to make like a super cute hat. And maybe it would actually pair nicely with another one of my worsted weight skeins. Potentially. This might actually go nicely with my Archangel, which it is my, or what would it be, one of my favorite Malabrigo colors, interestingly. So, I need to write a little thank you note to Jeanette and to let Megan know that I received it, but I don't know. I actually wrote me. I had originally met Jeanette at SSK 2015, so. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't quite work with Archangel. There's definitely something going on there. Whisper softly in my ear, beautiful brioche. Oh, that could be really cool. So, I think I'll be able to figure something out. And then this one has, yeah, no, I think there's enough in common and enough different about these that could be really cool. And I must admit that these probably aren't my huge colors, but I don't know, I'm feeling inspired. But brioche. That feels good to be in a good mood. Like brioche everything. So I need to document this bad boy before I put it into the stash, but that's making me excited. So, yay. I didn't do anything with my spindle project this week, but I did have a chance to email Jenkins, and they were like, we should put something more explicit in our fact and answer. And to be quite frank, since I haven't ever bought direct from them, I've bought from people who were carrying their spindles at Rhinebeck. I bought on a D-stash. I did not know, but after sort of exploring their website a little bit, one does not keep a spindle in your purse or in a soft-sided cloth bag. And that was my downfall. So, I need to find a hard-sided container to put my project in, and then their recommendation as well was to pull the shaft out whenever you're not spinning on it. So the little arms will hold everything in place. But that basically, I was stupid. But I had mentioned that was sort of the first time that I was using the spindle, and they're like, hey, because it was the first time, let us know the size, and we will send a replacement shaft for shipping. So, okay. I haven't responded back yet, but that was super duper nice of them. And after I explored the website a little bit more, it seems like this is a semi-common problem, so I should not be stupid and keep my spindles that way. Pro tip. So I'll need to figure out what I'm going to do about that exactly, or how I'm going to end up working that in the future, but maybe I shouldn't keep my spindle in my bag. And they responded like super duper fast as well, like probably within an hour of my original request, so yay, Jenkins customer service. So the other thing was that I got my Xiaogu replacement cable in the mail today, so Yay! I finally took a picture and sent them the email, and it is, no, it's somewhere. Oh, I had an extra cable in my project, but they sent me another one. So, what would it be? It's been a very good week for customer service. So, what would it be? And it'd be the case where whenever I see people having issues, especially with Xiaogu, it'd be like, email them, they'll make it right, no questions asked. So there must be some sort of crazy stress concentration there. I don't know. So now the last thing is spinning. So this is attached to my wheel, which is out of frame, but this little ball is smaller than it was the last time I showed you guys. So this is the Corriedale that I got from Gloria, that she bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool, that she gave to me at Rhinebeck, that I dyed at yarn school and turned into bats at yarn school, and then dizzed at home. And it is gorgeous, gorgeous colors. The primary thing coming off is somewhere like a midnighty purpley blue is the primary thing, with like streaks of magenta and teal, which are the most annoying ones to dye. I've been looking at all of the spring yarn school pictures that have been going on Instagram and being like, ah. So I'm spinning some fiber that I dyed at yarn school in solidarity. Well, that almost worked. Let's see. We can't make it work. Haha! It's even awkwardly leaning on my computer. So this is how far I am so far. So I should be able to fit it all on this bobbin, but it will probably be a very full bobbin when that occurs. And I'm spinning this sort of woolly in order to get sort of that loft and bounce out of this Corriedale. And it's turning out pretty fine, all things considered. It's fine with little chunks of stuff, because it's just, this fiber does have some neps in it. I probably ran it through the drum carder one time too many, or ran it through that particular drum carder one time too many. And so there are little bits in it from being slightly over-processed. But I'm taking it as fun texture in my hand-spun yarn, because this yarn is totally, or what would it be, having it be dyed in the wool, and then mixing up all the colors, and so it's some of the most subtly colored yarn I've spun. I am super duper thrilled with how it's coming together, and maybe a little bit bummed that this project's been taking me forever to do. Because I wanted to be done with this project in March, and here we are, next week is May. But such is life. So, as a result, I probably won't be applying that till Stash Dash. Hey! Shenanigans! But, whatever, it's not like it's the end of the world. I will probably keep focusing on Stash Dash projects for the time being. Well, not Stash Dash. So that is a Spin the Bin project. I'm going to be focusing on Spin the Bin projects until I get sort of caught up month-wise. So the other part of that is that I do need to finish combing. I do need to finish combing this final third. So I now have one more ball of top this week. So I have my sort of more charcoaly color, and then I have my more purpley ones. So these are made up of sort of a magenta color and a forest green, and averaging out to purple in the end. So it is coming along. I definitely did decide I was podcasting today and that maybe I should post ball. So if I was being maybe a little bit more diligent, then it would be a ball a day. But this, I probably do need to get a wiggle on it, because then I can pack my combs and I can pack my hackle. No guilt. Know that I'm not going to be trying to use them before I move. Do I know when I'm moving? But my father-in-law is coming up next weekend to help pack up the house, and I would like to be able to have that done. So maybe I'm going to be combing like a mad fool today. It doesn't get me closer to my stash yardage goals, but it would get me closer to being able to put some stuff away. I also need to do a mad sock cleaning because I think I'm out of clean socks. I can go months without cleaning my socks. Normally I wear them twice before I put them in the pile to be washed, but it's time. Like, I might have to empty out one of my bins that I currently have with fiber to be combed and instead put wet socks in them. Actually, on further review, I might just put them through the washing machine. I hand wash my handspun because not all of my handspun socks are superwash. And then I hand wash the Precious, which for the most part are the MCN socks, because they're the most delicate of the ones that I own. But everything else is fair game. I love putting my Volmisa socks in the washing machine. And then the workhouse yarns are all perfectly fine as well, so it shouldn't be too crazy. I'm sorry. I can't escape this awful cough. But that, I think, is going to be a big push for the time being. The other thing will probably be getting my sweaters put to bed as well. Because it's 86 today. My sweater wearing days are swiftly dwindling. So unless it's sort of gross and rainy, I'm probably not going to be able to break out too many more sweaters this year. So until I'm safely in the land of cool and warm instead of hot and cold, it's probably okay. So, I don't know, I don't think I'll do any shawl reblocking at this point, but I really do need to wash the socks this weekend, which means I really need to do them today, so they'll be dry by Monday, as you do. Otherwise, I'll be wearing my knee-high socks that I seldom ever wear to work, which would be really warm, because they're knee-high socks. I don't know, that would be quite the little fashion statement, wearing the knee-high socks with leggings. That might be for my last day of work. I do not care. I was like, my give-a-who? 0. So, there are currently no travel plans, but there could be travel in the future. What would it be? My time scale is short. I will be going to Hamilton next weekend, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think I'm going to have a theater-ready knitting project unless I start Rose City Rollers. Socks are good theater knitting. Lace, not so much. Maybe if I'm in a garter section of the Inara shawl, that would be okay, but probably not. Maybe the twisted ribbing on my breathing space would be okay. At least those rows are really long. But I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to be nominally going with a friend. We ended up getting tickets in different sections, but we're carpooling, so it'll be fun. Trying to think of anything else I need to talk about. What would it be? So, I need to take go-along photos for the month of April, even though it hasn't been stupendous progress. Better than none. I need to continue going on my spin the bin, so that's another yearly challenge that I'm doing. I need to account for my shawl and my new yarn in the accountability challenge that I'm doing. I think that's all of the organized stuff that's happening right now. So, and at least most of these goals are slightly overlapping. Not entirely overlapping. Apparently I wasn't that clever, but such is life. And then I've been having fun doing the whip tag in the SSK, or the Knit Girls Retreat board. So that's been a pretty good motivator for cranking through some projects. This week, I really wish that I had spent the 2 hours that I was awake waiting for me to stop coughing, because I had gone horizontal just knitting, but it hopefully is getting better, because I went to bed a lot faster last night. I don't know. So, it's lame being, what would it be? I'm not even sure whether or not to call it proper sick, but it has been gross. So maybe it is just sick. But I think that's the update. So don't forget to post photos in the Cal thread, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So take care, guys. Bye-bye.